In this video, I'm primarily going to be looking at backside coverages versus the Bengals out of a 3-by-1 look, the backside being the one receiver side. I'd like to, as best as I can, describe that coverage as I see it and ultimately work my way up to the Geno Stone interception. Let me let this play run, and then I'll do my best to break down the backside coverage. The responsibilities on these coverages matter more than the name, but I'm going to refer to this coverage as cone. The Ravens had an interesting approach to the backside coverages on 3-by-1s throughout this game, and ultimately it all kind of builds up, in my mind at least, to that interception, which I'll admit has me a bit perplexed, but here we go. In this coverage, the responsibilities, as I understand them, go as follows. The weak corner, you see that here, is going to bracket with outside leverage, the number one receiver. This is an if this, then that type of coverage, which is to say if this number one receiver goes under, the weak corner is going to zone off. Our apex player, which becomes David Ojabo, dropping from the line of scrimmage, has man-to-man coverage responsibilities on number 2. We'll see that a lot through this game with Patrick Queen primarily responsible in that regard. Ojabo, as I said, drops from the line. He's got number 2, which is the tailback, should he release to that side. Then my sense is he becomes a hook player unless number 2 crosses to his side. He becomes man-to-man on this new number 2. So he's a number 3, I believe, from this side. Should he cross to this side, David becomes a man coverage player to that side. The weak safety, and this is where the coverages become interesting as the Ravens play him from here on out. His job, along with that weak corner, is to bracket the number 1 receiver with that deep and inside leverage. If that number 1 receiver goes under, he then has to cover number 1 man-to-man. This to me is a clear picture of the backside coverage I'm referring to as cone. You see the tailback release, he becomes number 2. Patrick Queen is our apex player on the weak side. That's his responsibility in terms of man coverage. Our weak corner, once again, we see him bracketing with that outside leverage, and I will run the play. He's working in tandem with the weak safety. Stone's going to bracket him with deep and inside leverage. What's interesting in subsequent plays and as the game goes on is how that backside safety deals with a crosser from the strong side. As this play rolls, perhaps pay specific attention to Geno Stone, how he relates to things backside, trying, if you will, to have one eye inside, one eye outside, and a feel for the backside. This is a different call to the backside or weak side or single receiver side of the formation. In particular, they're leaving the corner man-to-man no matter what. They call that Meg coverage. Anywhere he goes, that's his man. Interestingly, the weak side safety is paying zero attention to that route. He is paying attention in a split manner to the quarterback and to anything crossing this way. You see Roquan Smith take a nice drop. That's probably what they're trying to conflict here. That is the Bengals. And the quarterback tries to go underneath. This is the play where Urban hits the ball. But I want us to check out particularly the safety, Hamilton. Now, he may have a feel for this route should it cut inside, but he's primarily concerned with these crossers from the strong side and, if you will, robbing those routes. We've looked at to this point all lead to the Geno Stone interception. I believe we see Brandon Stevens at the bottom of our screen playing technique consistent with a cone call. We see the same with Patrick Queen. I believe this is a cone call where Geno Stone basically robs the strong side coming across with little or no attention being paid to his role in that call. What makes this distinct, let's say, from a few plays back where we watched Kyle Hamilton pay more attention to strong side crossers, was that the corner was clearly in a Meg coverage to that side. Now, I could be wrong about this. This is a phenomenal play regardless, but my sense is we're seeing Geno Stone relying more on film study, on how the game has played out to this point, and robbing this route coming from the strong side with little or no attention to his role weak side. This is a play that Ed Reed would be lauded for, and in fact, if I'm right, this play is downright Reedian or Ed Reed-esque. Off the ball, we see just a cursory look by the cornerback, and this is just a great wait and bait played out here by Geno.